Okay, so this is The Bad Beginning Part 2. In this episode, we start off by finding out how Count Olaf tricked Mr. Poe into giving him custody of the Baudelaires. Really, it wasn't that difficult. And then Count Olaf puts into action his plan to get a hold of the Baudelaire fortune, which is to put on a play where he marries Violet, but because he's using a real judge and real marriage documents, the marriage will be legalized and he has the fortune. One thing that really was a nitpick for me in the movie was the fact that in the book, the way that Violet gets out of marrying Count Olaf is when signing the documents, she uses her left hand, but because she's right-handed, it nulls the entire thing out. Where in the movie, though, she tries to do that, but then Count Olaf stops her. It's like, it would be one thing if they just cut the idea altogether, which, you know, would still be annoying, but okay, but it's the fact that they specifically referenced it just to cut it anyway. It was really annoying to me. And they actually do that loophole in the series, so 10 out of 10. And one last comparison with the movie, which I may or may not be doing until we get past book 3 in this, but whatever. Like I said in the last vlog, one thing what I liked about Jim Carrey's performance in the movie was he really gets lost in the role. You would never recognize that it was Jim Carrey if the movie didn't tell you. And whenever I read the book and pictured Count Olaf, Jim Carrey's performance is what I saw. But to Neil Patrick Harris's credit, he is far more entertaining. While Jim Carrey's performance was definitely more sinister and scary, I just have fun watching Neil Patrick Harris in this role. It is a lot of fun, which brings me to something else that I'm realizing about the show. It has a pretty good sense of humor. There are a lot of great, cute little jokes that don't derail the plot, really. They don't derail the tone. But sometimes these things can go on for a little too long. There was this one scene in this episode where they explain the difference between literally and figuratively. And, it would have been fine if they just cut off at where Lemony Snicket says the difference, but then they go into this whole thing where they show these actors on stage showing the physical difference. But then, right after that scene, Klaus says the difference anyway, so the entire bit could have been cut. It's just, stuff like that annoys me. And then there's also, I'm not sure how I feel about how Sonny escapes danger in this one. I'm pretty sure this isn't how it went down in the book, but, in the way that Count Olaf gets Violet to agree to the marriage is he has kidnapped Sonny and has her hanging outside the tower in a cage. Which, yeah, that is in the book. But how she escapes from it so that Violet can tell them that she used her left hand to sign her name. Sonny plays poker with the bad guy who's supposed to be keeping her locked up, and wins. It's funny, but it's still really stupid in a way, and I don't remember how she escaped in the book, but it's weird. It is weird. One final thing I will note from my previous vlog is that evidently I was wrong. I said that these books were... Damn it, hit the camera. These books were not long enough to warrant a full movie, but these episodes are an hour long, and they successfully managed to split this up into 2-hour-long episodes. So not only is it long enough for a movie, it's more than long enough for a movie. But then again, they did throw in a lot of filler, like the figuratively, literally things. But it still works. It's still a good episode. Really can't wait to see what they're building up with the conspiracy, because, you know, the parents are still alive, which, again, not in the books, to my knowledge. And apparently whatever secret organization they were working with is still intact. It's really fascinating. I can't wait to see where they go with this. So yeah, that's about it for this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing the reptile room, and I'll catch you in the next one.